Fabulous. Okay, well, as people filter in, just pick up where we are at, and then this meeting is recorded, so you can go back on our Healthy Lifestyles page and view this at a later time. But welcome, you guys. Kirsten and I are so excited to have you. This is something that we are excited to be doing because it's our first time doing this activity. So before we dive in, I just want to remind everyone that currently right now with Healthy Lifestyles, we are running the Bank on Yourself program. And this program, I'm sure this is a repeat for you guys, but as a good reminder, this is a 2-month long program and we are offering um, wellness activities that fall into the financial and emotional wellness categories. So please visit our website, pay attention to our weekly lineups. There was one that went out this morning at 10. That will show you all of the activities. That will show all of the activities that you need to know about what's going on so that you can participate. So please pick and choose whatever you feel most inclined on getting involved in. Let me stop sharing really quick. I'm so sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Kirsten, are we good now?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay, perfect. So now, why you are here today, we're going to talk all about this activity, Track Your Triggers. This is a new activity that Kirsten and I have put together, and it's all about checking in with your emotional well-being. And this is going to be a great challenge just so that we can become more in tune with our bodies and our emotions. So we're going to get going on that.
Okay, so for this workshop, we're going to do it a little bit different. We want a lot of participation. So first, let's talk about our emotions. The Oxford definition of emotions is right there. It says a natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. The reason why we feel emotions are so important is because emotions are the universal language. Everyone experiences emotions, all the different emotions, right? Happiness, sadness, fear, anger, frustration, all of them are those. They're human experiences. We all experience emotions. So I want to get our brains working a little bit. So if you guys wouldn't mind throwing in the chat some ideas. Why do you think emotions are important? If you guys want to throw your answers in the chat, we can talk a little bit about them. They're always present. So true. We always have emotions. Emotions express our feelings. It's how we let people know how we are feeling. It's important to know how to express them in a healthy way. Yes, that is so true. See, it affects our relationships, influence our actions. They make us do irrational things. Amen to that. Emotions are a driver of actions. They help determine our behavior. Yes, all of these things. What are the benefits to emotions? Any ideas? They help us determine our behaviors, happy and healthy relationships. They promote positive interactions and are better for all humanity. Happy feelings, good relationships. Yes, these are all the things that we want to focus on. Emotions sometimes have this negative connotation around them, right? Like we only want to feel happy all of the time. And that's one, just not possible. And two, just not reality. It's okay to have some of those negative feelings. And so that's what I want to talk about next, how our emotions affect us. So, perfect. Thanks, Britt. I want to start with a little story. So I'm sure that most of you have heard of the Disney Pixar film Inside Out. I recently learned a little bit more of the background on this story development of Inside Out, and I wanted to share it. So in 2010, Up and Monsters Inc. Pixar director Pete Docter decided to make a funny film about the emotions of an 11-year-old girl. After speaking to many psychologists and narrowing down 27 emotions to just 5, he was ready to get started. Throughout the process, he knew he needed 2 emotions to play at the forefront. And so he settled on fear and joy. And so off they went. The animation and creative teams got to work. And 3 years later, they had wrapped up the dialogue for the movie, as well as had partially animated it. At this step, they were ready to present to the executive team so that they could view the progress of Inside Out. It was right before this presentation that Docter realized that something was wrong. The third act wasn't working. Joy had learned no great lesson because fear ultimately had nothing to teach her. After a short tailspin of self-doubt and worry about how to fix this, he had an epiphany. And that epiphany was that the reason we have emotions is to connect us. And sadness, of all the emotions, was the ultimate bonding agent. With this epiphany in mind, Docter began engaging with another psychologist named Dagmar Keltner. It was through Keltner that the Pixar team learned the functions of the major emotions. Fear protects you, anger keeps you from getting taken advantage of, and sadness triggers compassion. With Keltner's help and explanation, Docter was able to convince the executive team at Pixar, and they ended up rewriting the movie, which put joy and sadness at the forefront. This ultimately resulted in an Oscar for the best animated feature. The lesson he learned: all emotions are important. All emotions serve a function, and we need to honor all of our emotions. So I thought that was a super interesting story. That, throughout this huge process, he learned that sadness was ultimately the one that brought people together. And so part of this Track Your Triggers program is to help us learn, one, how emotions affect us, but two, to honor our emotions, to be okay with no matter where we're at in our day and with our emotions, and to recognize that it's okay to feel those. Emotions affect everything, right? They affect our daily living, they affect our relationships, and they affect our personal development. And so our hope through this program is that you become better in tune with your emotions. And so for the next part, we want to walk through Track Your Triggers together. Today's the first day of the program. So if you haven't started, no worries. That's why you're here today. We're gonna practice this together. We're gonna practice how Track Your Triggers work. So was everyone able to open up the PDF that was in the registration at the beginning? I can throw it in. There's the chat as well. I threw it back in the chat. So if everyone will open up the Track Your Triggers PDF, we're going to start at the very beginning. Hey, Britt, do you mind opening that up where everyone can see?
Definitely. Okay. Can you see it?
Yep, we can. Okay.
Perfect.
when you open it up, the first page is the steps. It's going to walk you through exactly what you're going to do every day. So for Track Your Triggers, we want you to check in with your emotions twice a day, preferably at some point before noon and then at some point again after noon. So you're checking in twice a day. We've made it really easy. When you're doing this by yourself, it should only take about 2 minutes. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit longer as we're walking through it together for the first time. But on an everyday basis, this is a 2-minute check-in that can really help grow and learn. The why is because everyone has emotional ups and downs. Everyone struggles with emotional reactions and decisions making. This challenge is to assure you, one, that you're not alone, and two, to help you learn how to identify your daily emotions and become more mindful in your reactions. So before we get started, I want to show you the second page. Britt, will you just scroll down a little bit? Perfect. Okay. So this, you are going to complete on your own time at some point today. This is your first check-in. So this is so that you can see how far you've come from today till the end of this program in 2 weeks. So if you will check in with yourself on this, rate your thinking today. And then on the last day, there's this page again at the very end of the pamphlet that you can then fill it out. Perfect, right there at the end on the very last day, so that you can see how far you've come and if this program has been helpful for you. All right.
And this PDF is completely fillable too. So all you have to do is just mark what you're filling. And that's really nice, especially when we get further into it. But anyways.
Okay, so let's get started. So the steps. I'm going to pull out my phone so that we can do this correctly and do the whole timer. Just give me just a second so I can pull up my timer. Okay, so for the next 30 seconds, if you would all take the time to clear your desks, declutter whatever you can, straighten up your area. If you're walking around doing the dishes, whatever it is right now, if you don't mind just taking a seat and clearing your space. We're going to declutter our minds and mentally prepare for our daily check-in. Great. Okay. We're now going to take the next 30 seconds to close your eyes, relax your body, and take 3 deep breaths. Each inhale should take about approximately 5 seconds.
Newest home furnishings.
And each exhale should take another approximately 5 seconds. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. Okay. It's now time to check in with your body. As you close your eyes and you turn your mind inward, check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How was your morning? Are you relaxed? Or do you feel some tension in your body? Where is that tension located? Let your mind turn inwards to that portion of your body that feels tension. Focus in on it. Why is it there? What caused that tension? What caused that emotion in your body? Don't focus on the tasks we have ahead, but simply be in the moment and identify what your body is telling you about your current emotional state. We're going to take another 2 deep breaths. All right, if you'll open your eyes, scroll down to the fillable portion of your PDF and mark which emotional face you most closely identified with on the tracker. Then take the remaining 20 seconds and write about why you identified with that face. Congratulations, you finished your first daily check-in. So it was super simple. Our total time there was 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Like I said, it was going to take a little bit longer this time since it was all of our first times doing it, but it can easily be done in 2 minutes. How did everyone feel about that? Any feedback from that experience?
As everyone's feeling it in the chat, I felt instantly so much better when I started taking a few deep breaths. It is so crazy that I'm just, every time I take a few deep breaths, I'm baffled because obviously I breathe all day, every day. But when I take a second and acknowledge what I'm feeling, there's like a sense of like peace that happens, right? Whatever I am feeling today, it feels like somebody's acknowledging it. And that somebody's me, right? So easy, but so effective.
So quick. Tracy said it helps you, it does make you feel calmer, which is so true. And remember, our point in this is not to necessarily ignore our emotions or suddenly help us feel in a healthier state, but instead it's to acknowledge our emotions so that we can then respond accordingly. And so that we can, like I said, we can recognize our triggers. So once again, we're gonna have a little discussion. What do you think the benefits will be from tracking your triggers every day? Less reactive? Definitely. That's for sure one of the goals we're going for here. One of the benefits for us to be able to choose how we react instead of letting our emotions choose for us. We have recognizing your feelings and being okay with it. It will help me realize and reflect what sets my triggers off, more proactive in lessening the triggers, make you more aware and gain control, be aware and process emotions correctly. Yes, these are all the benefits. These are all of our hopes for this program. It will bring more self-awareness into our everyday life. It will also create a daily practice of mindfulness. Brittany and I have been working on this program for the past couple months, and this has been a goal of mine for a long time to have more mindfulness in my life. And so I love that this is a quick aspect. We're not talking about a 15-minute mindful practice. We're talking about 2 minutes twice a day. And I love that. I love that it can help us create that daily practice of mindfulness. We have other people saying that it helps us be aware and process emotions correctly, as well as step back before reacting. And all of that is correct. And I'm so glad you guys feel this way. Before we move on, I want to talk about some barriers. What are some barriers you guys anticipate with this program, and how can we help you overcome them? I know personally for me, a barrier, oh, perfect. Someone said it. Remembering to do it. Yes. I am so busy, it rushing. Yes. And I get behind and forget. So, we all have mobile phones, or at least most of us probably do. If we can all get out our phones right now together, and set an alarm for twice a day. You can pick whatever time of day that's going to be for you. If it's in your car, even as you're driving to work, please don't close your eyes on the mindful portion. Keep your eyes on the road, but you can turn inward while you're driving. That's okay. Clear your space, declutter the soda pop from 2 weeks ago in your car, and you can turn inward for 2 weeks in your car. If it's easier right when you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed, that's okay too. If it's right before you go to bed, or before you make dinner or on your ride home from work, I do recommend you setting a time where you know your emotions can be a little high. We want an accurate reading on your emotions. If you do it the minute you wake up, you might be feeling really good and not have the stress of getting ready and rushing around and whatever your responsibilities are in the morning. It might not make your emotions quite as reliable. Same with if you do it, right before bed after you've had an hour to sit and relax. So try and do it when you really could use that 2-minute break. And that's all we're asking is for 2 minutes. So set a timer on your phone for those 2 minutes.
And just something to add to that, Kirsten, when we're talking, I like this last comment that Lori put, forgetting to do it because it isn't a habit yet. Yet is the key word, and habit is something great that this can turn into, right? Because we have it for 2 weeks, but the intention behind this isn't just to do it for 2 weeks and then leave it alone for the rest of our lives, right? We want this to turn into something that we do daily or even multiple different times of the day. So with forming a habit, we have Healthy Lifestyles has a podcast on this and it's so good. But one thing when it comes to forming a habit is you have to look for the cue. And that's what Kirsten was talking about when you get out of bed or if you're in your car on your way to work. So that's because that's a cue, right? So for me, I know particularly for a stressful part in my day is maybe, my baby wakes up early and then I feed him breakfast, everything like that, and then I check in after he goes to sleep right after his first nap. That's a cue, right? I lay him down in his crib, I shut the door, and then I check in with myself. So find that cue.
Oh, Julie again.
And make sure that you follow up on that as well. Kirsten, I love that you put the link in there as well. But yeah, make sure to listen to that if you're looking into making this a habit. Because as you guys said, right, the benefits outweigh the time, right? 2 minutes, 4 minutes in total throughout a 24-hour period. But yet, how much better did you feel after those 2 minutes? So, things to think about.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Brittany. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was a really great discussion. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about honoring our emotions and helping us feel better and feel stronger and recognize that you're not alone in the barriers. We all will have those same struggles of the fact that it's not a habit yet. And that we are trying to create this new daily mindfulness. But like Brittany said, the benefits far outweigh those barriers. So I'm going to turn the time over to Brittany for this next little portion.
So as part of Healthy Lifestyles, I'm sure you guys have heard us talk a lot about the importance of self-care, and The reason why we keep talking about it is because it's so important. Um, like Kirsten was mentioning, what comes with this activity for 2 weeks is all about honoring your emotions. And with honoring your emotions, I feel like that counts as a beginning part of self care, right? Anything that we can show ourselves a little love, pay attention a little bit more to our bodies, turning our thoughts inward, all of that is those important pieces of self care. So, when it comes to self care, everyone likes to put on that big fancy show of, oh, I just spent all this money and went to the spa and did this and this and this for self care, or I just went on a shopping spree. And that is all good and dandy. I mean, if I could drop hundreds of dollars on the spa, as self care, that's great. And if you're in a position that you can do that, that's awesome. But on the daily, we need to be showing ourselves self care, and what that may look like is just like these pictures. I love that they're included because finding a soft blanket and sitting there for a second and checking in with yourself. Check that off. That can count as self care. um Sitting on your bed in the morning and taking a couple of deep breaths and you know practicing some gratitude, that is also self-care. So when talking about self-care, yes, it can be big fun activities that we all see on social media, right? But it can also be something very small but something so important. So I do want to highlight, like Kirsten mentioned, we did talk about barriers with the Track Your Triggers challenges. Perhaps we don't remember. And I think oftentimes that can happen with self-care as well. I also think that, we're all adults and you're all working right now. We're all employees for the county. And on top of being working adults, you could also be a caretaker. You could have kids, personal stressors, so many other things outside of um, who you are as an employee. You're a whole person, right? And there's so many things going on in our lives that oftentimes self-care gets put to the back burner. And frankly, we probably forget. And that's okay. But again, it's taking a look at what is that cue? What's something that's going to remind me to participate in self-care? Um, do I need to set a reminder on my phone? Does that work for you? Do I write on a sticky note on my laptop that when I go to shut my laptop screen, I can see a sticky note that pops up when that laptop screen lays flat on my desk that says, take a deep breath, take a moment for yourself before you get out of your chair or go to head home. So, taking a look at what those barriers are. Another thing I want to touch on with self-care is it is different for everyone. Like I was jokingly talking about, right? Spa day, that's awesome. But again, that might not work for somebody else. Um, have you tried taking mindful moments? Do you really enjoy reading? Do you have a good book that you like to grab and sit down and snuggle up on the couch with a warm blanket and read for a moment? Do you like getting out and moving your body? You know, is there a favorite candle that you like to light and just, sit and enjoy the beautiful smell that the candle provides? Everyone is different when it comes to self-care. So this leads me to our next discussion is I would love to hear from you guys. What is what are some things that you guys do for self-care? Do you Yeah, what do you do? Do you like to read? Do you have a warm blanket? Do you take a moment and practice some mindfulness? What is it? I can see that we have a ton of different things coming through the chat. Let's read them. So we've got read, Epsom salt bath. Oh, Catherine, you know the good things. Yes. We have work out, walk, read, have time for myself, journal, walk outside, book club and girls' night. Yes, ma'am. Warm blanket, breathing, hugging my dog. Oh, you guys. Pet therapy. If you have a pet, whether, hamster, gerbil, dog, cat, whatever it may be, there's just something about that they provide some love for us. Puzzles and music. I love that. Painting, play games like Wordle. Wordle is so hard for my brain to figure out. So I love that works for you, Nancy. Read under the blanket, watch movies in bed, playing games, sit by the fireplace and watch my favorite show. That sounds so cozy. I love this. Grandchildren, knitting, hiking, chatting with girlfriends, cats, cleaning. Um, Diana. Um, I think, and honestly though, cleaning may be something that's for self-care. I know that when I get really stressed out and I just need a time, time for myself, right? Cleaning is something that helps me work through my own emotions and I end up getting a great result. So, whatever works for you guys. I love, love, love this list because as I was reading it off, it makes me excited to, go and do those things, right? Self-care is something that should be celebrated and you should be excited about doing. It's not selfish in the slightest. This is something that I say a lot is uh, I recently went on a trip and like every single time you get on an airplane, what do they always say about the oxygen mask? When the oxygen masks drop, please put on yours first before you put on anyone else's. If you're trying to put somebody else's oxygen mask on somebody and you pass out in the meantime, you are no help to them and you're also passed out. You can't help your own self. So, a same thing with filling your cup up is self-care is something that you need to do so that you're able to fill your cup up so then you can pour from your glass into others. So please make sure to make this a priority, as sometimes that can be hard for all of us that care so much about other individuals, right? So I want to talk about resources for our mental health and our emotional health. So, as county employees, there are so many wonderful resources that you can utilize. And as you're doing track your triggers and you're finding that, you're uncovering some emotions that you're not entirely sure how to sort out, or you want to dive more into perhaps you're feeling a little bit more anxious or anything under the sun, there are resources available to you. And I hope that you take advantage of these. So, first off, I want to talk about the Healthy Me Clinic. In the Healthy Me Clinic, there is a psychologist there. This is available to all county employees. It's located at the Government Center, and the psychologist is fabulous. Appointments are 45 minutes to an hour. And if you uncover those emotions and you want to chat with somebody about it that is strictly there to listen and is not biased, that is a great opportunity for you to utilize. Another one that is new, our employee assistance program or EAP program has changed with the new year. It's called Blue Novus, and Blue Novus is a mental health resource to connect you with a care provider, and this is also offered on their app. So if as I'm talking, if you guys are interested, you can download the Blue Novus app, and we encourage you to do so because there are some great videos on there and other resources that you can take advantage of and share with others. Now, when you go to download that app, there is a code that you put in, and it is capital SL County. If you'll put that in the chat, Kirsten, that would be great. So just keep that in mind. And of course, if you run into any difficulties, you can email us and we can help you out with that. This Blue Novus app is different from WellStep, so please do not get that confused, but it is the EAP program through the county. Another one is our QPR trainings. QPR stands for Question, Persuade, and Refer. And this is our monthly suicide prevention trainings that Healthy Lifestyles offers to county employees, and it is free. Sometimes when you go outside of the county, you do have to pay for that, but we cover that cost for you. And then after you complete the training, you are a certified gatekeeper for the for QPR, and it's a fantastic resource to have. So if you are in a profession that you find that would be helpful, or if you have other family members or friends, loved ones, whatever it may be, that have struggled with suicide in the past and intrusive thoughts, this is a great resource for you as well. Does anybody have any questions before we end? Anything that we've chatted about so far? Okay, well, I will. Oh, we've got in the chat. Can you share with us the source of that movie reference about rewriting Inside Out?
Yeah, it actually came from a book that I read. It's called Bittersweet. It's by Susan Cain. I can throw the title of the book in the chat, but she talks about it in the first like 5 pages of her book.
That's awesome. And on top of those resources that we provided to you, Kirsten put in the chat the Emotional Literacy Health Hub. So Kirsten put that together for you guys, and it just dives more into the importance of emotional literacy, what it is, and how you can practice that, along with resources of workshops and all of those other things that we've previously chatted about and recorded. Again, all of our workshops that we provide to you are recorded, and you can view those later on our YouTube channel. So I want to put in a plug. If you would like to meet with Kirsten and I, we will be doing Track Your Triggers together this Thursday and next Thursday at 11 a.m. for 15 minutes. It's meant to be super quick. We're there to guide you through that. It's super simple, easy, and then we have a little fun fact / education for you for the remainder of the time, but we will not go over 15 minutes. So if you want to hop on, we can track our triggers together, and then you can go on about your day. So I just want to show you our calendar. February, we have a ton of wonderful things for you to participate in. And as Kirsten said in the beginning, today is the first day of the Track Your Triggers workshop. Track Your Triggers challenge, I'm sorry. And it goes up until next week, the 10th, which is a Friday. And you can see on our calendar, we have this Thursday and next Thursday for Track Your Triggers together. So if you go to our website and click on calendar, all of this is there for you. And you can sign up. It's linked to everything, so you can sign up for everything there as well. But with that, I believe that's the end of our workshop description for your Track Your Triggers. Is there any other questions? I was just searching the chat for.
Jamie did ask if this will be recorded, and this was recorded, so this will go up on our website within the next couple days so that you can watch it later. Jody, there are points for today. If you look up just a little bit above, I threw in the login right up top that you can you can use that link to log in on.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for attending today's Track Your Triggers kickoff. Again, if you couldn't hear it from our voices, Kirsten and I are so happy to be offering this, and we're so excited to hear about all of your guys' experiences. Again, we will be available on Thursdays at 11 to check in with you guys, see if there's anything that we can do to support you. But thank you so much for hopping on and joining us today, and we will catch you on the next workshop.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, it looks like in the chat, did Lori find the
Correct one.
sign in? Yeah, here I can repost it for you, Lori. Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, Kirsten, you do a fabulous job. I
You
sure love working with you.
Me as well.
All right, I think we have anybody else in here. So we're good. Awesome. Okay, well, I will chat with you on Teams.
Okay, talk to you later.
See ya.